Hi, and welcome to another episode of the MPNFL GameFace Netball Show. Now, before we get started, I just wanted to thank Husky Hampers, who have provided us with these beautiful GameFace wine glasses. I know that some of you have used Husky Hampers to create their best and fairest glasses. So we don't give trophies at Somerville. We give beautiful wine glasses for the players who win the best and fairest and runners up. And Lou, I hear that you also used Husky Hampers.
Yes, Husky Hampers came to the rescue last week when I forgot to order our best on ground and court ANZAC Spirit Awards. So she came to the rescue last week, which was really great. We were able to get some glasses very last minute. So thank you very much, Husky Hampers.
Well done. All right. Now, before we get started, I just wanting to, one of our co-hosts tonight, Anna, tell us a little bit about what happened with you on the weekend.
Yeah, so Saturday came around. I was feeling good. I was just saying this to my partner when it happened on Saturday, but I had a feeling good in the warm-up, went on the court, felt like I was kind of getting a bit of my confidence back and went for a nice pocket ball, did all the nice things, did all the right things.
And this was your first game back?
This is my third game
Okay,
back.
good.
Yep.
Okay, yep.
So I thought I was,
A few games under the belt?
Yeah, getting the movement back into my legs a little bit. But then 5 minutes into the first quarter, just went to change direction on a centre pass and felt like I'd been kicked in the back of the leg, had a nice big pop and snapped my Achilles. Yeah.
Devastating.
Yeah, so I'm pretty devastated. As much as I'm smiling,
I think
pretty
the whole
upset.
court,
The whole area would have just been holding their breath.
It was, yeah. And I think a lot of people thought it might have been your knee. I know I did at the start. Think it was your knee, and then everyone was very concerned for your poor mum. Yeah. Poor Dottie.
I know,
she stayed well away, and then they were trying to get her in. But it was shattering, I think, for everyone around to see him.
Yeah, it was. I was actually quite humbled by everyone around me that day. I kind of, I forget sometimes how small our netball community is and how supportive it is, but every single person came up to me, friends, people I hadn't really known before, every other team opponent came across after the game. It was really, humbling. I was devastated, and I felt bad because every time someone come up to me, I would compose myself, and then someone come up to me with tears in their eyes, and I'd be like, "Oh, waterworks again." I had my partner. I rang him, and he had his 200th footy game in his league, and I rang him before his game, and I was like, "Hey, just letting you know, I'm off to the hospital," and he just swore his head off at me, and he's like, "Do I skip my game?" I said, no. You go play your 200th game, run through that banner that we sorted out for you. And they ended up winning by 151 points. So there was some good news.
Some good news on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So it was a full rupture, is it?
We're still waiting to hear. I had an x-ray and everything when I went to emergency into the hospital on Saturday. The doctor there seems to think it was partial, but I saw my physio, Emma, and she reckons it's fully gone. I think it's fully gone as well. So I see the surgeon, and then we'll go from there and decide what the next course of action is, whether it's I get in a plaster or if I have to have surgery.
Okay. And was it a real, like traditionally when an Achilles go, you look over your shoulder and, who's behind me, who's kicked me, what's going on? Is that how you felt?
Yeah, and if anyone knows me, what I'm like, I've got white line fever. I turned around, went to give this person a spray and realised there was not one person around me. So I was like, oh, that's my Achilles.
Realisation hits in.
Yeah, I had my goal shooter turn to me and she said, yeah, I heard the pop. And then Lachey's dad was on the sidelines and he turned to Dottie and said, yeah, I heard that as well. So, yeah, we knew. I pretty knew straight away, and everyone was around me going, no, it's not that. It's not that. And I'm like, I love you all and I love the support, but I know it's that. Thank you.
We're just going to pretend just for a little bit, just until you can compose yourself and work out what's going on. Well, we're really sorry to hear. I know when I heard the news, I was devastated for you because you've done so much rehab across, multiple knee injuries and whatnot. To hear that you've had that injury on a positive note, and like I was talking to you earlier today, is that, there has been, I've known a lot of Achilles injuries through the league, and, they've all returned to the court. So it's a setback, but we do hope that you return and it's sooner rather than later.
Thanks, Christy.
That's okay. All right. So rather than that devastating news, and we're still going to have you here all season anyway. So
you don't get out of it that easy.
you're just going to be able to provide us with better feedback now that you're not taking the court against some players.
I might be able to get around to a few different games. Not that I won't see my Bombers girls every Saturday, but I may be able to
absolutely
divvy myself up a
You
little
must
bit.
take the swordfish spy.
Yeah, you can do the
That's not a bad
spy
idea.
the spy games. All right, so let's move on with the Milestone Players because there's plenty to cover off on this week. So Lou, what about Division 1? There's plenty.
There is plenty, so it's great to see them coming in. Make sure you do reach out to us and keep letting us know when those Milestone games are coming up. A huge congratulations to Georgie May from Dramana, 150 games. Georgie's been there from the beginning down at Dramana and always great to play against, lovely person, so well done, Georgie. And Wendy Morecombe, 150 games with EDS, who is just a stalwart of the league and particularly in the last few years the C grade, so I'm sure she'll have another best and fairest year up her belt this year. Premiership player,
all
everything.
of those things, yes.
So well done, Wendy. And then another one from Dramana. We've got a belated one for Emma Drinkwater. So congratulations, Emma, on your 100 games. I can't talk tonight. And then we have a few 50 games coming up. So plenty at EDS at the moment. So congratulations, girls. Charlie and Davis, Ash Johnson, and then from Red Hill we have Karina Holmes, Lucy Hamill and Katie Bard, all notching up the 50 games. Well done, girls.
I think there'll be a lot of 50 games coming through. I think, from when the league, I think, probably cemented itself as this is a premier competition, there'll be a lot of players that are now coming through for the 50 games this year. Division 2.
I know, Division 2, I've got a bone to pick with you guys. We haven't got any milestones from our Division 2 viewers and players and clubs. We'd love to get some because we really want to celebrate our netballers and how far the clubs have come in the last 10 years. So Divi 2 teams, clubs, get onto it, please.
Well, I know that we've got some coming up at Somerville, so we've got some big 100-game players coming up in the next couple of weeks, and then in a few rounds I notch up the 150. So there's a few coming up at Somerville. So obviously I'll let you know.
Yeah, thanks.
We'll skip over that one.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on and let's talk about what happened last weekend. So a big week in netball. So what happened down in Division 1, girls?
I've obviously got a big smile on my face.
Go on.
So we were
get it out of the way.
Exactly.
We were very happy to come away with another clean sweep on Saturday with 4 from 4 for the YC girls. So it was some really, really great games. I know my game, it was in C grade, we were down by 8 at halftime or 8 or 9, something like that. And I was getting quite nervous. I didn't second guess my girls, but we did need to make a few changes and just settle back into our game. In that second quarter, we made a lot of unforced errors and just passed terrible passes or thought about, which was the pressure that came from the Bombers C grade girls, which was really, really good. And then our girls, one thing I did notice is when my girls, have been down and have had some comebacks over the last few years in pressure games, that's when the Bombers C grade they got tired and they didn't have that extra, hunger in towards that last quarter to go, nah, we're not letting you get away with this. So we came away with a win there. And
Was that from some of that passionate coaching that I saw a photo of from the sidelines?
We need to get that photo.
I feel like the YCW girls were scared not to come away with that win.
I think they might have been. It's the one game I asked them we don't lose for the season because I don't want to see the other side of it. But I can precisely remember that point, and I did
We
turn
will
around.
share that photo at the end of the show, guys.
Did turn around to my assistant coach. I need to shut up.
Whatever works. So well done.
But there were some really competitive games out there on Saturday, and
The intensity was really high for all 4 grades.
and I think B grade was only a 5-goal deficit.
Yeah, 5 goal deficit.
And I'm sure if you hadn't have gone down in that first quarter, it probably would have been different.
May have been a different result.
Scoreline at the end of the day.
That, but
I'd easily say a 5-goal
loudly.
difference. Yeah, the other one I wanted to mention was Mount Eliza B grade getting up for their first win of the season over Red Hill, and their A grade only went down by a couple of goals. So, it's shows, we said Mount Eliza might struggle a bit this year, and then they've turned around and brought those games. So
they wanted to prove something against you, Lou.
Yeah, hopefully they get the win this week. And then the other one that surprised me was the score difference between Pines and Rosebud in the A grade. So Pines obviously hitting their straps and starting to work together really nicely. I know Rosebud were missing a couple of their defenders, and Rani Sampson was the difference down there. They had no one to stop.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a real powerhouse to in that A grade to really come up against. So they'll be testing a lot of the teams, especially come finals time, if they can keep that momentum going.
So that's interesting that you mentioned that they had some players missing, and I know across A grade it was the VNL's first home game it was Casey versus Peninsula, which we spoke about last week. Clearly those two clubs, there's a lot of players across our league that feed into those two VNL sides. Obviously there was some other games that were played during the week at the State Netball Centre, which probably didn't impact, but we still do have players across our league that are part of Saints and some of the other VNL clubs. But that home game match for Casey, the players aren't to take the court in a MPNFL competition leading up to a game that night. So there would have been a lot of players that were missing.
Yeah, I don't think that it actually affected Rosebud. So I think they just had a couple of players away with other commitments that we were talking about the other week.
Yes.
I think one was a wedding. So, with weddings having to be rescheduled and just pick any date that's available.
Yeah, 2020 has made them to be crammed into some very small space.
But I know that Red Hill were missing a couple of their A-grade players, so not to take anything away from Mount Eliza, but, I mean, that's if you've got those players in there, you're going to have, there's quite a few games that you have to work out what you're going to do and adjust when you don't have those players in your team.
Absolutely. Well, I guess that probably, we'll talk about Division 2 now. And one way to beat that Saturday kind of ban for VNL players is to hold your game on the Thursday night. And I think that's what Rye and Pearcedale decided to do. So they were able to play their A-grade game, which allowed them both, because I know both clubs do have VNL players in their team, so they were able to play that on the Thursday night.
So did they just play the A-grade game on the Thursday night?
It's my understanding that was the case, yeah. So just the A-grade. Now, it was a super close game, which is brilliant because, if you've got that quality and that calibre of player, then, how fantastic that they do play as a fully stocked side against one another. And it was Pearcedale 46 defeated Rye 44. So really close game there. And I think it would have been a great game to have been able to watch. So interesting. So, and there was a lot of close games in A grade for Division 2 on the weekend. So we had just a 3-goal deficit between Chelsea and Seaford. So Seaford taking away that win. Again, I think Chelsea may have had a few girls who were ineligible to play that round because of VNL commitments.
Were they undefeated going into last week?
No. So
they had lost a game.
No, well, they've lost. They lost that game, but prior to that, they had been undefeated. So Seaford was able to win. The only team at the moment that is undefeated in A grade in Division 2 is Langwarrin.
Because they came away with that win against Tyab.
Yes, yeah, and again, so that was a big margin. Langwarrin 48 to Tyab 33. Langwarrin that team's been together for a long time, and they're proving to be very competitive this year. And as you've said, they're just undefeated at the moment. But other close games as well. Somerville and Coringal.
Is that the same? Sorry, just to jump in there. The same team. They were runners-up or like grand finalists in 2019, if I remember correctly.
Langwarrin?
Yes.
Against Crim Point.
Yes.
I think you may be wrong. Or was it Coringal?
No, I'm pretty sure.
Langwarrin beat Coringal to get to the grand final to play Cribby, I think.
Yeah.
Such a long time ago.
Sorry.
My memory's not so good anymore, Lou.
Quite a similar team from that, I think, from having a look. So
absolutely.
Very experienced.
Yeah, very, very few changes, I would suggest, in that team. And then, so I was saying Chelsea and Seaford was a really close game. Somerville and Coringal, so my A-grade side, they were 1 goal down at 3/4 time and unfortunately came away with a 5-goal loss. But, that was a really great game. And, I guess probably the only one that had a significant margin was the Devon Meadows versus Mornington. So Mornington new to the to our Division 2 competition. And, we're just seeing how they go up against different sides. So they would have been really happy with that win. Other than that, there was a really tight game in B grade, Crib Point versus Hastings, with Crib Point coming away with a win 31-26. And also in C grade, a 1-point game with Crib Point and Hastings. So some really great matches out at Cribby versus Hastings. So I think that was all in our to call out from our games. But what I wanted to mention was, as we all know, is that last week was the ANZAC Day games. So we were able to get the details of all of our ANZAC Day medalists. So congratulations to all the girls who were voted by the umpires as being the best on court, displaying the ANZAC Day or the ANZAC spirit, and having all of those values out on the court that represent the ANZACs. So I will shout out the winners of those medals now, and then we'll throw to a break and we will have a look at some of the girls with their medals on as we saw after the game. So YCW versus Bombers, the winner was Cara Humbert. Pines versus Rosebud was Zali. Red Hill versus Mount Eliza was Sophie Fletcher. Sorrento versus Edias was Geordie Cuthbertson. Bond Beach versus Dramana was Emily Wilson. And in Division 2, Rye versus Pearcedale, Carly Foster from Pearcedale. Crib Point versus Hastings was Dion Douglas. You will not get a photo of Dion because she will run from a camera. She doesn't like the spotlight. So, Dion, I'm just giving you an extra special mention because we don't have the photo. Somerville versus Coringal, it was Renee Brewster. Langwarren versus Tyab was Sarah Drain. Chelsea versus Seaford was Steph McNay. And last but not least, Devon Meadows versus Mornington. The winner there was Candice Page. So, congratulations, girls. And, just to get that recognition early in the season says that you're doing great stuff out on the court. All right, we'll be back right after this break. Now, other than the ANZAC Day games that we had, we also had the Swordfish Game of the Week. And you girls, we called it as an A-grade game between YCW and Frankston Bombers. So, Lou, can you tell me, either one of you or whoever you sent the spies out to watch, who did you name as the Swordfish Player of the Week?
So we know YC took the game out 55-26 Frankston Bombers. So it was probably a little bit more of a margin than we expected to see. So YC running away with it in the end. And the Swordfish Player of the Day went to Courtney Janssens from YCW. Absolute killer game down in defence. She can rip a ball out of anywhere, and with her and Lachey, we're very lucky to have them both. But she took it out to the Swordfish Award for this week.
All right. Well, congratulations, Courtney. And the team at Swordfish will reach out to you to give you your award. So you'll be heading down to Mornington to enjoy some wine and
she needs it. Yeah, she needs it more than anyone.
Have a break. Have a break.
Not in the way.
Have a break from the kids and head down and have some wine and some pizza. Maybe bring some of your teammates down there.
She's also doing her masters, so she can have a little bit of Courtney time.
Oh, wow. She's a busy girl. All right. Moving on. Now, I think this is our fourth show for the year, and it's only finally just now come through that we've got some rumours. Okay, so Division 1. We have. All right. Apparently there is a player that created a new profile with Netball Victoria rather than get a clearance from their old club.
Interesting.
Can you actually do that? Doesn't it go...
That is your membership number? But maybe you have to have a new email and a new...
It's hard enough finding your membership number when you don't.
I can't barely log into my Netball as
Exactly.
it is, so it goes over my head.
Imagine having two of them.
Step-by-step breakdown to register to a new club.
Absolutely. I know. It's not.
How does that actually work?
Maybe congratulations to them for being able to sort that out.
So that's a decent loophole. I don't know the reason why someone has done that. It's come in just as it is. But yeah, interesting.
Is there when you move from a junior to a senior? No, because you keep your same
still
number.
the same VNA.
I have my same same
Juniors,
yeah.
Unless there's change of name, so married, divorced, etc. That
I know
might
when you're like,
be the
you
case.
probably know this too from logging in the back end when you're trying to like match someone up. They can have like 16 different
profiles.
but it all goes to the
But
one
it's
number.
still all listed to the same number. So I'm not sure how
bit
that's
of
happened.
Identity fraud.
We're opened up a real can of worms now.
Well, somebody has putting it through. So
Interesting.
there we go. So that was Division 1. Let's check out Division 2's rumour.
Just on that, if you get caught out, what
Yeah,
what does the
league do?
Is that like a
Sam, can you give me the details? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that would have
would
to
you
be.
just merge your account or like?
I would have thought that would be an issue between two clubs rather than the league. I'm not sure.
So why did they create a new account again?
I don't know. Oh, to prevent themselves from having to
clearance.
to request a clearance.
There must be some serious dollars owing or something, club. That's the only thing you could like stop someone from moving.
I don't know. And some serious dollars, like how serious are we talking about? Like there's only ever a couple $100 in our fees or whatever the case is. We're not talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm not
Normally
sure.
be the other way. Interesting.
I don't know. All right.
Why not?
Sorry.
I'm going to make 8 different profiles now.
And start playing
I
for
come
lots of
back.
different clubs. Okay, Division 2. I'm so glad that these are back straight away. Like,
It's
all
interesting,
exciting.
isn't
Yes,
It's
you
got
want
me
to
thinking
know all the
about, like,
information. Or how you
What?
can
How can we
rort the
rort the
system.
system?
No, why would you do that?
I don't know. If you know, if you're part of this, then let us know so that we can talk about it maybe next week. All right, Division 2 rumour. Apparently there is a player that plays in 2 different leagues on a Saturday and their match payments would cover most people's mortgage repayments.
I wouldn't work. I'm a poor uni student.
Maybe then I could have a mortgage.
netball.
Stop paying someone else's mortgage.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Interesting.
Good if you can get it.
Why not? Yeah, if the club's willing to put money into the netball like that, I guess you
I
wouldn't
know
say
there's
no, would
plenty
you?
of footballers out there that would use their footy money to pay off their mortgages. So,
Definitely. There's definitely some that just use it for their little, this is our treat.
yeah,
money.
probably pays for their holidays every year.
Yeah.
Or,
Slap.
It's nice to see that money's coming into netball, but to be able to play 2 games on that money, that's even better. Must be
Absolutely.
fit.
Well,
I'm struggling.
Very fit.
Half the people struggle through getting one game.
Can't even get through a quarter at the moment, so.
oh, I know.
Oh, I didn't mean.
You made it 5 minutes through your quarter.
Yeah.
That's 2 hours of netball.
Absolutely.
And, like, some of these games are very intense, and like I would imagine it's an A-grade player because I don't really think you're paying anyone.
I don't think there's anybody else that's getting paid, Lou.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, could be. Never know.
It must be young and nimble.
That rules out me.
Well, the concrete courts aren't really forgiving. on
No,
the
they're
body,
not.
So 2
Absolutely
games in one
not.
day, I definitely.
That is sore.
wouldn't be
After
able to do it.
one game,
It's actually a lot of talent too, because don't you play at the same time? How does one do this?
I don't know.
Again, you don't know much.
I just get what's on the pieces of paper, Lou. I don't know.
But it's very like you
I
would.
just-
It would. Where would like how?
I know that there are some competitions like in the eastern range, like eastern suburbs, etc., that play on Friday nights. So it could be.
So completely
I don't-
different league because you obviously can't play. So
No.
for anyone out there thinking they can do it in our leagues, you can't. You
No,
need
you
in
can't
AFL
play in-
Southeast. You need clearances to be able to play.
Correct.
It's when you move that district, I guess you call it.
Yeah. And I know in previous years there's been girls who have played some very country or regional Vic games, so heading up to Euroa and suburb or towns like that, who potentially play at different times and can manage to be able to play across 2 clubs, get themselves qualified for finals and work their way out through that. So look, if there's a way to do it, then
match payments would be paying for the helicopter to get from A to B.
Hats off to them. I'd assume they'd be playing out of football netball league as well. So
Absolutely.
What's that? At least 3 games a week.
Plus training.
Plus trainings. Whew.
So maybe they're not working, Anna.
Yeah, maybe.
Because
I wouldn't be
where
able
do
to
you
fit all
fit
that
everything
in.
else in?
I'm just going to have another sip of my wine in that stage.
Yes. Although these
That just hurts my head.
these microphones do make it a little bit challenging to have some wine, but I will make do and I will find a way.
Training,
Our
3
priorities.
games. Jeez. I'm sore just thinking of that.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. Can we let you guys ponder on that one? Let's talk about tomorrow's games. What is happening in Division 1? Anything to call out?
Division 1, we have top of the ladder clashes and some undefeated teams going to be come out of this week defeated.
Can't have two winners,
Unless
can we?
we can't have two winners.
Or some
But we can have some
draws.
draws. So they still might not be technically undefeated by the end of this round. But EDS versus YCW across all 4 grades have...
Is this everybody who's taking the court is undefeated?
yes.
Brilliant.
Yes. So
It's going to be a ripper day.
it's going to be a ripper day down there. And
Where are the games?
kind of glad Sammy's not here because she'll probably make me wear something next week. EDS Regents Park. So we get to play down there
On
for
their
the
new
first time on their
courts.
new courts. And A grade are coming in with some huge confidence. So they will be ready to take it to the EDS girls. And across all other grades, it'll be some great top of the ladder clashes. There's some big percentage on EDS's side in B and C. I think so. We'll see what happens at the end of this week, but I am hoping we can come away with another clean sweep. Snyder might kill me because it will be a really very big happy hour.
Oh, yeah. You might not make it here.
At least it's an away game, so I can't really do anything there.
So that would be a tough ask, I would suggest.
It's a very tough ask, but anything's possible, and I'll put it to the girls, and we'll see what happens.
Definitely capable.
What are you putting on the line, Lou?
So we have 10 pack of cruises, but if we come away with 4 wins, it'll be a slab per team just to for the next home game.
Dangle that little carrot out there.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a good incentive.
Well,
Go
the boys,
YCW.
the boys get their little beer after the game, so we thought it was, if the girls have a win, may as well treat them to something nice as well.
President of
Or a
Somerville,
soft
Rowan, are
drink.
you listening?
Soft drink for the girls that it's not all about drinking.
Yes, well, at least you all got senior sides. We have an under-17 side, so we can't clearly give them a slab of cruises.
No, the under 19
as much as some of them I think
drink.
would love it. we don't condone underage drinking on this show.
And the other game I'm very interested to see the result of, this is a chance after a great game last week is for Mount Eliza to see if they can come out on top of Sorrento, who have struggled the last couple of weeks, suffered some really big losses. So very interested. I think there's a couple of wins there for Mount Eliza, even though I did say last week it's going to be a tough year for them. This is their game to
Get some momentum going.
Get some momentum going and build on what they've come out of last week with some of their great games and go ahead. But that's really my 2 call-outs for this week. Is there anything different for yourself?
They were also my 2 call-outs. But on the Mount Eliza and Sorrento topic, I think after, like you said, Mount Eliza's games last week, I think they've definitely, hopefully can keep running with that momentum and really stick it to Sorrento and try and come away with those wins. I think the week games are at Mount Eliza as well, so that'll be interesting, are they? They are at Mount Eliza?
Yes.
Let's go with that.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
They are at Mount Eliza.
There you go. So for the next round for Division 2, the game that I'm going to call out, which I think is going to have some great matches across all grades, and that's Chelsea versus Somerville. So we're heading up to Chelsea. They've just recruited a lot of players across particularly their top grades, but I think what that does is then filter players down into their lower grades. But Chelsea's sitting top of the ladder in C grade, sitting top of the ladder in D grade, second at the moment B grade only by percentage. They're second in A grade as well. So there's some really top teams in Chelsea. They're the best.
Yeah, we played them in a practice match and they were great.
Absolutely.
And that was early, like a very early practice match. And so now they've had a few games together. I can imagine they'll be really great games.
I think even from last week, Chelsea's A grade, like you said, missing a few VNL girls because of the home game.
Oh, they'll be back to play us, I'm sure.
Yes, they will. But even having the depth for the B grade girls to go up and only lose by, what was it, 4 or 5 goals or something, like it goes to show the kind of depth they've got throughout their grades.
Absolutely. And they would have played in both games, you would suggest, if that's the case, if they had to go up and fill those A grade spots.
I know one goal and then Rebecca Graham played full game B grade and full game A grade and apparently
killed it.
Yeah, played a ripper game.
Fantastic, because I'm sure I'll probably be lining up.
Well, they can't do that forever because as soon as you hit your 6, you're done.
Yeah, but they'll only do it on their VNL games. I'm sure I'll be lining.
They might have.
I've played many games against Beck when she was playing at Coringal. I've no doubt that I'll be lining up against her at some stage tomorrow, which I look forward to, Beck, as you just keep popping them up over my head. But yeah, so, and because they won the B grade game, so, you know, they were able to win that game against Seaford, and Seaford's B grade side is quite a strong side as well. And then to have been able to go up, play, you know, multiple girls probably, like you said, across both those games. So I'm really nervous about Chelsea. I think that, you know, I think they've set the benchmark pretty early on. They've been doing clean sweeps similar to you guys week in, week out. So I'm a bit nervous about that one. So there's that game there. Pearsdale versus Coringal I think will be a ripper game, particularly in the A grade, but again, across some of the other grades as well. And Seaford versus Crib Point, I think too, will be a strong game as well. So there's some really tough matches, and you know each week, you know it's really tough to kind of tip who will come away.
And that's what you want to see. You want it close. You don't want to have, you know,
Absolutely.
You want to have that. You need
the competition's really quite tight.
Your A game every week and build on what you know, build on your momentum, build on the things that you work on those things, and really take it to make it an interesting competition rather than knowing who's going to win week in, week out.
Absolutely. So the Swordfish Player of the Match game, we're calling that for Division 2 tomorrow. And so we're going to call that between B grade Pearsdale versus Coringal. So we'll send our spies out to that game at the Pearsdale courts. And so whoever is the player of the match will take away the pizza and the wines.
Good luck to all teams playing tomorrow. Don't forget to upload the scores live throughout the day on the GameFace recorder. If your club isn't updating those scores, inbox the GameFace page and we can send you the link to get the scores up.
Thanks again to our sponsors who make our show possible. So Swordfish, Trish and the girls and guys down at Swordfish.
Swordfish.
I
I like it. Normally it's me that can't get it out.
don't mind that, Sword Trish. Change the logo. And Frankston RSL, who obviously last week with the ANZAC games, huge day down at Frankston RSL.
We'll see you all next week. Well, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. The girls will take over for the next two. Coming with you for more netball news. If you have something you want to speak, want us to discuss, or particularly a rumour, get us talking. Inbox the GameFace page. Make sure you send your milestones in and have a cracking weekend of netball. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Get your GameFace on.